Hi, in this video, we're going to learn how to add questions to our new Google form. So as always, you're going to start at drive.google.com. And if you haven't already created your form, you're going to click the New button, scroll down to More, and then click on Google Forms. Once you are here, you're going to give it a title. And if you type your title in the upper left corner and then click in the middle where it says Sample Form, it will carry that title over for you. So in this video, we're not talking about how to change the look and feel of the form. Please check the resource document for additional videos for that step of the process. Where it says Untitled Question, just click. And once you click there, you will delete where it says Untitled Question. And I'd like you to notice how it defaults to multiple choice. So let's start with a multiple choice question. Start by typing your question in the question box, and then click where it says option 1. That's how you'll change it from option 1 to the option you would like to provide to your learners. Once you have typed one option, you can either hit your tab key a couple of times so that your cursor appears where it says add option, or you can just click where it says add option and type another option. Keep doing that until you have added all the options that you need. Notice that you also can add an other option, which will give your participants the opportunity to write in or type in an option that is not listed. You may be asking yourself whether or not you want the options in this particular order. You can actually grab an option and drag it to a new location by moving the cursor to the left of the option until you see the two crosshairs. For example, I like to have my options in alphabetical order. That way, no matter where the right answer is, I'm consistent about how I choose the order in which they occur. If you have added an option that you don't want anymore, just hit the X off to the right-hand side. The next thing to do is to determine if you would like that question to be required or not. The default is that questions are not required. If you would like it required, just click. If you would like to delete the entire question, just click the trash can. If you are going to have multiple questions with the same answer choices, you might want to hit copy or duplicate, and now just type the different question that will have the same answer choices. In another video, we will talk about turning this form into a quiz so that you can designate the correct answers and have it auto-grade all the multiple choice type questions. Let's add a new question by clicking the plus button on the right. This time when we start typing, I want you to pay attention to what happens on the right-hand side, because Google is constantly noticing what you're typing and using artificial intelligence to try to predict the type of question you would like to put there. Notice how Google automatically changed it to check boxes when I chose check all that apply. The difference between multiple choice and check boxes is that the person taking the form can actually check multiple choices and submit those. One way to tell if an answer is multiple choice, meaning you can only select one option, or checkboxes, meaning you can select multiple options, is actually the shape to the left of the options. A circle means you can only pick one, and a square means that you can click as many as you would like. Add your options in exactly the same way that you added them before. This time I'm going to choose Other. This again will give your people who are taking the form an opportunity to write in something that has not been listed. And as always, you can drag items so that they appear in the order that you would like them to appear. There is also another option here. If you click on the three dots in the lower right corner, you can shuffle the option order automatically, so it will look different for every user. This is an option with all multiple choice questions. So if I click back in the first one, if I click back in one of my earlier questions so that I'm editing it again, and I click the three dots, I can shuffle the option order. What if you would like to change the order of the questions themselves? Just put your cursor at the top of one of the questions so that you see the crosshairs or the handlebars and drag it until it moves to where you would like it to be and let go. Now, if I click add question at this point, you can see that I'm currently editing this particular question about dessert. That is where the big blue line is. That tells me where I'm at and what is the active question that I am editing. If I click plus here, it will appear directly after this question and before the question about the city with the largest population. Let's see how that works. As you can see, I now have a new question between the other two. If it turns out I don't like where it's located, of course, I can still drag it to its new location. This time, let's take a look at some other possible answer types that our participants can give. So we can also give them short answer or paragraph, a drop down, which is just like multiple choice, but instead of seeing all the choices at once, users have to click for the choices to drop down and they can choose one of them. File upload will allow your users to upload anything they have on their device or from Google Drive by uploading things such as documents, pictures, drawings, and so on. So you have to accept understanding what it says will be necessary because it actually does have to come from Google Drive. So make sure if you're doing that with your students that they have saved whatever it is that they want to use into their Google Drive, not just on the camera roll on their device, for example. They will have to sign into Google in order to be able to upload files. So now we hit continue. And when we do that, we're able to do a question of any kind. Once you have typed your question or your prompt, notice that you also have the option to designate which file types you will accept. All of these have to be in their Google Drive already. You can also say that you only want them to upload one file as opposed to 5 or 10 files as being the possibility. And you can limit the file size of the files that they upload. A couple other things I'd like you to notice that are possible with your questions. You can add a description to the form, which might include some instructions for how you would like them to complete the form. In addition, you can actually add a text section, an image, or a video in between any two questions. So if I am working on this question right now and my next question is going to include a video, I'm going to, instead of clicking the plus, which is only for adding another question, this time I'm going to choose to add a video. As you can see, what happens here is it will actually let you search YouTube for a video, or if you already have the URL of the video you want to use, you can paste it here. Note that you cannot paste the URL back where it says video search. So I'm going to type in a search term and then see what it comes up with. So after I type my search term, I'm going to hit the search feature. And then once I see the video I want, and notice I can play it right here to preview it, right? And then I can click it to select it and then hit the select button. That will insert a video in between questions. Although you cannot add a question right here within this same editing space, you can still click the plus button in order to add a new question immediately after. Let's give this video a title. Miam is the French word for yum. Now that I've added the video, I'm going to add a question about it. As I finish typing this question, look again at what happens on the right. Instead of multiple choice, it changed to paragraph automatically because I added the word why. And as we discussed before, I'm going to go ahead and make this question required. Let's go back up to one of our earlier questions. Did you notice the little image icon? This will allow you to add an image as the answer choice. Let's see what that looks like. Once again, it's going to let you grab an image from a number of places. In this case, I'm going to do Google image search and it will do only copyright-free images. So I'm looking for a picture of Los Angeles, which, yes, from the right angle does have those beautiful mountains in the background. So I am going to grab that one and insert it into this question. That gives users a chance to see the item as well as be able to see the words for it. It looks like there was maybe an error with that one. I'm going to try one more time. So let's try again. Maybe we'll get one from a different source. We're going to hit insert. There we go. Every once in a while, there will be an error with the images that come up. Perhaps the image is no longer available, even though the search engine can still see it. So if I wanted to do that for every option, I would just click the image icon and then either upload the images that I already have or search for an image. So I happen to live here in Sacramento, and I'm going to try to find an image that looks like most of the city and choose insert again. Before we end this video, I want to show you one other type of question, which has multiple choice options as well as check all that apply options. Let's go ahead and add a new question, and this time we need to pull down the choices, and let's choose multiple choice grid. What this will do is require users to make a selection in each row for a series of questions that have the same response choices. If I chose checkbox grid, it would look very similar, except that users could mark multiple things in each row. But let's go ahead and do multiple choice grid. As you can see, I need to type my question, and then I need to add choices for both the rows and for the columns. So I've typed the basic question or prompt, and now I'm going to type my rows first. This is where I'm going to put all the different food items. And I'm going to do that in the same way as how I added multiple choices above. So once I start typing, I can just tab to get to the next row and add another option. I could go on for much longer, but I'm going to stop there and move over to the columns. This is where I'm going to add the food groups. Again, I will start typing and then continue adding just by tabbing, or you can move your cursor into the new place where it says add column and click. Remember again that you could have many more rows than you do columns. I'm just stopping here for the purposes of the demonstration. One important piece here is this time you're going to require a response in each row so that they have to designate a food group for each of these items and they can't skip any of them. So make sure you require a response in each row for this type of question, especially if it is an assessment question rather than an opinion. Let's go ahead at this point and take a look at how our form is looking for our users. One thing you may want to add before we do that, as I go up to the top of the form, I recognize that we have forgotten an important question that you might need if you aren't collecting email addresses from your users automatically. You probably want your students to tell you who they are. So you can just add a question. It automatically changed it to short answer, make it required, do last name. The reason I'm doing them separately is so that I can alphabetize the spreadsheet of responses if I choose to do so. If you're a secondary teacher and you're using the same form for multiple classes, you might want to also create a question that helps them mark what class they are in. And then you can just say add all there, 3, 4, 5. And in our case, we also need a 6th period. And you can make that one required as well. That way you can sort the form by class if you need to do so. We have another video in this series of Google Forms videos that talks about how to access the responses, including the spreadsheet that is automatically created for you by Google Forms. But for now, let's go take a look at what our form looks like. You do that by clicking on the eyeball in the upper right corner, which gives you a preview. You can even take the form yourself as a test to see how it's turning out, because this preview is live and the answers will go to the responses. So you can take a look at how this is going and see if you like how everything is coming along. It's a nice reminder here that we haven't finished adding images for each city, for example. We can see how the video is working and then the question afterwards. And we can see how well we like the way the multiple choice grid turned out. When your users are done taking the video, they will hit submit, and that will populate all the responses into your spreadsheet. If you see an error and you're not ready to send it yet and you would like to go back to editing your form, just click on the pencil or go back to the open tab with your form. And really, even if you are ready to send the form to your students or others, It's really important that you do it from this page where you edit the questions. The link you see at the top is not the correct link. You cannot give that link to your students, or if this was a survey for families, you cannot give the link to families either. It won't work. So as discussed in another video, just remember to click send. Chances are you don't want to type in a lot of email addresses, so click the chain link and then grab that link, copy it, and you can put it into an assignment in Google Classroom or send it out through whatever communication channel you use to reach out to your students or to your families, depending on who's taking the form. Thanks a lot.